Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We're excited to have you here with us today. A couple of housekeeping items before we begin the conversation. There's a question and answer or question tab in the bottom right-hand corner of the webinar platform here. Please add your questions in throughout the conversation. We'll either pause midway through and get to those as we go, or either way, we're for sure leaving time at the end to answer some questions. So feel free to leave those at any time, and we'll make sure to get to those at some point throughout the conversation. So, and again, thank you. My name is Bridget Ling. I'm the Vice President of Marketing here at Pitcher. I'm really excited to have Ali Sharif joining us today. Ali is the Global Vice President of CX Strategy and Digital Transformation at Azurity Pharmaceuticals, a US-based specialty pharma company with a global footprint in over 50 countries. Azurity is an innovator in the pharma space, leveraging data, analytics, and AI-driven digital tools in their commercial approach, standing out in an industry that can be a little slow to adopt new digital technologies, but not with Ali at the helm. This makes Ali the perfect guest to speak with today. So a little background on him. Before his current role, Ali served as a partner at IBM and at Accenture, where he advised organizations on transformation and customer experience initiatives. He brings deep expertise in CX, having guided companies through complex change and helping them elevate how they engage with their customers. He's truly a subject matter expert in customer experience, and I am very delighted to welcome him to this conversation today. Today, Ali and I are going to explore the race that pharma commercial teams are trying to navigate as they look to modernize revenue enablement, adopt AI, and improve the customer experience, all while working within some of the strictest compliance and security standards there are in the business. So, Ali, thank you for being here today.
Bridget, thank you for the kind intro. That was too kind of you. But hey, also thank you for having me here today. And for the folks on the call who joined, good afternoon. Thank you all for joining. I'm truly excited about I'm actually really excited to be here and sharing my perspective on a topic that I'm deeply passionate about. Folks who have worked with me know that this is something that I live and breathe. I've spent the majority of my career advocating for, championing, and executing all of this. So, I'm looking forward to diving into the conversation today. Also, since it's a Friday and almost the weekend, too bad we don't have happy hour after this, Bridget, but we'll try to make it as much fun as possible. So
absolutely great, thanks. So why don't we start with just tell us a little bit about the role that you play at Azurity.
Sure. So I'm basically I serve as a VP of Customer Experience Strategy and Digital Transformation at Azurity Pharma. I lead our front office global transformation. In practice, that means that I focus on modernizing our CRM, enhancing field engagement and effectiveness, advancing data and AI capabilities across sales and marketing. I'm hoping to talk a little bit about AI today, but all of this means is that we drive this through our enterprise-wide digital engagement platform, right? Where we deliver next best action capabilities, analytics, innovative HCP and HCO engagement strategies. All of this is basically designed to empower our field teams and help elevate the overall customer experience. So I know I said a lot, but there's a lot more that's behind this, but I wanted to kind of use language that can resonate with the audience members that are, with the folks that are on this call. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So the pace of change is head spinning right now. With the speed of change that we're witnessing in technology, with the rise of Gen AI in everyday business use cases, not just in the edge cases anymore, in everyday business use cases, what do you think digital transformation looks like in 2026?
Good question. So with the speed of change, I think 2026 will definitely look very different from where we are today. The rise of AI is really, it's not only shaping, it's reshaping everyday business use cases, right? I mean, the AI wars are front and center right now between Google, OpenAI. Like it's exciting, it's fun seeing that what's out there. In my world, it's basically I see it as a tool for efficiency, right? it serves as a true partner on how work gets done. So what, for example, we'll see, or we're seeing already, or we're deploying those already, AI agents embedded into workloads, right? That will
Yeah.
help teams make faster and smarter decisions, right? Instead of simply automating repetitive tasks, these agents will basically collaborate with us
Yes.
by analyzing the data, recommending next best actions, and even adapting strategies in real time, right? This means customer experiences will become what I think of as hyper personalized, right? Where
Right.
insights are delivered at the right moment through the right channel to the right audience, right? So at the same time, all the digital engagement platforms, right, will basically serve to unify the CRM, the overall CRM platform, the data, feed enablement, basically helping create this single ecosystem where sales, marketing, and customer experience teams are able to basically operate seamlessly. Now, imagine field reps are empowered with next best action insights, right? Where these AI-driven content recommendations and real-time data that make every interaction more relevant
Yeah.
and impactful, right? Now,
Right.
now in the life sciences space, where which I live and breathe in, which as you do as well for the most part, Bridget, is I think there's going to be this strong convergence of data and AI in patient
Yeah.
engagement, right?
Yeah.
I'm hoping to talk a little bit more about patient engagement, but digital transformation will mean not just engaging or reaching our patients, but truly understanding their journeys, right? Right? Using
Right.
AI to tailor support programs, predict adherence risks, and basically help improve the overall patient outcomes, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
we'll see some of this cloud and edge computing converge, this real time analytics as I think of it, where speed and data processing is going to be critical in industries like healthcare, manufacturing, or retail. These industries are where speed is key, and
Yeah.
then all of this will happen under what I would what we have to just call out and acknowledge is strong ethical and regulatory guardrails, right?
Yeah.
In 2026, responsible AI practices can't just be optional anymore, right? It's going to be part of how organizations will build trust with their customers and then also their partners, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So in summary, when you talk about 2026, it's just not about adopting new technologies. It's about kind of rewiring how our organizations, how all of our departments are going to operate, right? We're going to empower teams. We're going to elevate our overall customer experiences, and then we'll also help build trust in AI, where all of it is going to be woven into the very fabric of how we do our everyday business.
Right.
So I know I said a lot, but
Yeah.
this is
No,
something that I'm excited and passionate about as well.
yeah.
So
Absolutely. And you kind of touched on it a little bit in that response, but working in the life sciences space, pharma is a
mhm.
very highly regulated sector. So throws in some extra
No, yeah.
challenges in balancing that innovation and adoption of technology while maintaining compliance and adhering to the security needs that are called upon. So how do you balance all that in your role?
Is pharma highly regulated? I'm just kidding. No, it's an inside joke.
Yeah.
Uh, Folks on this call might know what I'm
Yeah.
referring to for my team, but yeah. So pharma, yeah. I mean, let's admit for what it is, right? It is a highly regulated sector, right? But there are other sectors similar to pharma that are highly regulated, right? And in some ways, that reality shapes every aspect of the digital transformation that has to be taken on, right? I mean, the challenge is, well, I think of it less of a challenge, think of it as an opportunity, is to actually innovate responsibly, keeping that in mind, right? You have to balance speed and creativity with compliance and security, right? It's just it's a fact. It's a fact, and we just have to reconcile with that. Now, the way we address that is that first we start with building compliance in the very onset of the design of our platforms and all the associated processes, right? It should never be treated as an afterthought. I mean, that's something that I highly recommend doing that. When say you are thinking of modernizing your CRM or deploying AI-driven engagement tools, and there are plenty out there for that. You know, you do so with regulatory frameworks using FDA guidances, GDPRs, HIPAA, and then there's this new emerging European Union AI Act in mind, right? I mean, I'm sure some of you folks might be familiar with that, but what that means is that there is transparency in how data is used. There's an auditability of all our decisions, and then this underlying strong governance that ensures that every innovation that we're doing kind of is able to stand up against this regulatory scrutiny that is just going to be there, right? Also, I mean, the other aspect to the regulatory aspect piece is security, which is also another piece that I think as being non-negotiable, right? As we enhance or expand digital engagement and leverage AI, it's important for us to also kind of we're basically opening the kimono in terms of expanding the overall attack surface, right? So what we do is that it's important for us to invest in enterprise grade cybersecurity, data encryption, things like role-based access controls, etc. What this does is that it ensures sensitive patient and HCP/HCO data is protected at almost every step along the way. Now, I know I've talked about two pieces. The third piece is innovation. It just cannot be at odds with compliance at all times, right? In fact, I would say the most successful digital transformations in pharma have been with technology that is used to enhance compliance, right? That, for example, what an example I would use is that automating adverse event reporting, right? It's something that we partner with Pitcher on. What we do is that embedding guardrails into field enablement tools or using AI to flag potential risks before they become potential issues or blow up, etc. And then last but not the least, it's also about culture. The key is that you empower your teams to innovate, you train them, you understand the regulatory environment that we all operate in. They're partners of ours, that way compliance becomes part of the very DNA of everything that we do, right? And not necessarily a barrier to it. So yeah, I mean, I think I guess that's pretty much what I think in terms of your question. And happy to expand on it.
Yeah. So if we shift gears a little bit, then you're also a customer experience leader at Azurity. So let's talk a little bit about the collaboration and communication that happens between the commercial side of the business and the customer experience side of the business. How important is it? How do you lead in that capacity?
I mean, it is absolutely critical, right? Like collaboration and communication between these two teams, the commercial sales team and then customer experience is like, I can't emphasize on that enough. At the end of the day, both functions have the same goal, right? You're ensuring that healthcare professionals receive the right information at the right time in the right way, right? So that they can make the best decisions for their patients, right? Now, speaking from experience, too often you see commercial teams and CX teams operate in silos, right? It can often, or more often than not, lead to fragmented engagement and frankly missed opportunities, right? When these two groups are aligned, what happens is that you get this seamless flow of insights, right? Commercial basically brings the voice of the field, and CX kind of brings the lens of that customer journey, and together they bring this unified strategy that basically elevates every interaction, right? And this has been been place where Pitcher has played a key role for us. Pitcher provides this single integrated IRAP mobile platform that basically connects commercial and CX teams. It helps enable our field reps to basically access all our compliant, emphasis on compliant,
Yep.
personalized content, and also feeding back real-time engagement data. This closed loop means that we can deliver next best action recommendations, help also tailor some of our communications for our ACPs and HCOs, and basically continuously refine our approach based on what's happening in the field, right? So in some ways, we're able to break down the silos, improve our collaboration, and ensure that, like I said, the commercial team, the CX teams are not only aligned but reinforcing each other. So,
Yeah, that's great. How do you approach finding solutions that are effective and impactful at the highest level and then at the rep level, where team members are expected to use the technology every day? How do you find a solution that makes everyone happy?
I think it's all about the strategy, right? That's why I have the strategy in my title, because without the strategy, you can't execute, right? So I think when we think about digital transformation in pharma, right, it's not enough to just design solutions that look good on paper at the enterprise level. They kind of have to be practical, right? Intuitive and impactful for our reps, right? Who use them every day, right? I mean, these folks are in the field hustling, for they're just, we have to make it as easy for them as possible. So at a high level, to answer your question, my role is to ensure we're building platforms that align with our overall strategic goals, right? Goals that come from my leadership, from the CEO, etc. Things like, hey, let's modernize our CRM. Let's enable data-driven decision making. Let's ensure compliance is across the way. These solutions need to deliver important measurable business outcomes, KPIs, and whether that's improved, and those KPIs could be anything like improved customer engagement, faster insights, or stronger collaboration between commercial and customer experience teams. Now, most importantly, is that whole rep experience, right? Because there are true end users, right, in a lot of ways. If the technology isn't easy to use and doesn't kind of fit naturally into that daily workflow, adoption will suffer. And we've all experienced that in our careers, right? So if you design the field in mind, where we simplify the interfaces, remove the number of clicks, have that single pane of glass view, embed next best action recommendations, make sure all that data is flowing seamlessly, so the reps are actually spending less time navigating all the pages and more time engaging with healthcare professionals, right? And the way lot of times we do that, I mean, the way we do that is like actually involving our sales reps early on in the process, gathering feedback from them, doing early pilots, POCs, iterating based on their input. That way, anything that we roll out, where it's not only is it strategically sound, but practical and empowering at that sales rep individual level, right? So ultimately, to answer your question, the balance comes from connecting the big picture with what I call the day-to-day reality, right? When technology drives enterprise transformation and makes life easier for the people using it, I think that's when digital solutions kind of become truly effective and impactful.
Yeah.
So
You don't know what that day-to-day feels like, looks like for those reps. I mean, Pitcher still does rep ride-alongs because we need to understand. We need to get in literally in the seat with the rep and understand what that looks like. So it's really important that you do that.
Actually, a day in the life of is an important part of what we do in CX, right? Kind of living in their shoes, tagging along, etc. is an important component of CX. I absolutely agree.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, let's go up 30,000 feet here. The topic of Gen AI. How do you view AI in your space now, and as you look ahead to the near term?
Wow. AI. So I mean, so AI is no longer a buzzword, right? It's now become a practical reality. I mean, it's kind of it's I think it's moved well beyond the proof of concept experiments, use cases, etc. Now it's basically AI has to be embedded in everything we do, basically across our entire value chain. It's in, say, in research or in development, AI is actually helping um, our scientists actually analyze massive data sets. Our data scientists predict things like molecular interactions, generate new hypotheses for drug discovery, right? Again, these aren't pilots anymore. These are actually real world applications that are shortening our product timelines, increasing the likelihood of finding viable therapies, right? In clinical development, AI is actually being used to optimize trial designs. I mean, that's another case.
Yeah,
Identifying the right patient populations and really monitoring outcomes in real time. So
yeah, yeah,
allowing these trials to be more efficient and adaptive. Now, in the commercial world, right? AI is also transforming how we engage with our healthcare professionals, right?
right.
Field teams are supported with, like I mentioned, with next best action recommendations, some of that personalized content, and then real-time analytics, account summarizations, etc., that make every interaction more relevant and targeted, right? For
Yeah,
for customer experience, AI is helping us uncover insights from these engagement data at scale, right? So we can kind of tailor some of our programs and kind of do some learning along the way as a result, right? Now, as I talked about regulations, right? Being that we are heavily regulated in the pharma space, we are approaching AI with compliance and trust at the very forefront, right? What this means is that we're embedding transparency, um, auditability, and guardrails into every use case. So when we are applying it responsibly, AI is not just a productivity enhancer; it serves as a catalyst for innovation, right? So in summary, AI is very much here. You can't run from it. It's in our space. It's practical. It's impactful, and it's here to stay, right? It's no longer a buzzword or a pilot. It's here to make our lives easier in a lot
yeah,
of ways.
yeah, absolutely agree. I've got one more question on my list. So I want to encourage our audience attending today to leave a question in the questions tab at the bottom, and we'll get to those here in just a minute. Oh, and I can see a couple. Great. Thank you. All right. So Ali, when you first came to Pitcher, what were you looking to solve, and what interested you in exploring Pitcher or a comprehensive sales enablement solution, technology as a solution?
So I think there was a mobile aspect to that, to it, which is one component, but the other component was trying to solve for what I would say the complexity and fragmentation that was currently in place, right? We were kind of working in multiple systems. It was creating a little bit of inefficiencies. Field execution was comparatively slowed down, and we just couldn't get a consistent field experience, customer experience as a whole. So what we needed was a compliant way for us to deliver our content seamlessly while still giving the teams the flexibility to adapt to different healthcare professionals' needs, right? I mean, it's evolving. Our therapeutic areas are unique, are different. All healthcare professionals are unique in some ways, right? So, what drew us was the fact that it was, it was simple. It was easy to use. So instead of us layering another tool on top of existing systems, Pitcher kind of served as this plug-in, this integrated platform that was able to connect our CRM, our content, and the existing analytics that's in place. So we were able to kind of enable our sales folks in using less time navigating the different tools that were in place, the tabs, etc., and really giving them more time to engage with our HCPs. There's also this part around what I call it the closed loop model, where insights from the field basically flew into our overall CX strategy. So from Pitcher, this feedback loop was compelling because it allowed us to continuously refine engagement approaches, align our CX and commercial teams, and really help in the end elevate the overall customer experience, right? So wasn't about just solving operational pain points. It's about actually finding a partner that we could engage, making our processes simpler, and just having our interactions a bit more impactful. So it is a journey, and we're continuously looking to improve on that.
Yeah. Well, we're very grateful for your partnership, and the team loves working with Azurity. That's for sure. We do have a couple questions that have come in, so let me pull these up. All right, our first one: where do you see AI making the biggest impact in life sciences right now? Oh, very, very. There's some practical ways I'm sure that come to mind.
I would say it's so I would say AI is probably making an impact in three major areas, right? And say in the life sciences space, right? I would say drug discovery, clinical trials, and then personalized medicine and patient care, right? Um, I mean, I, I, I would expand on the patient care aspect of it, maybe, because that's kind of falls in my domain. You know, it goes back to the personalized treatments where AI integrates the genomics, the clinical data, and patient feedback to help deliver these tailored therapies. What it does, it helps us improve our overall response rates and really be able to reduce any adverse reactions, right? Now, from a patient support point of view, that's another piece. AI tools are able to predict adherence risks and personalize engagement programs, as a result, enhancing our overall patient experience and outcomes, right?
Yeah.
Now the other piece that I want to call out is the healthcare professional engagement, right? What AI is doing, it's helping our commercial teams deliver, like I said, the more compliant, personalized content, and really making those interactions more impactful. So those would be the three things or four things that I would say are probably the biggest impact that AI is making in my particular space.
Great. All right. Let's see. How do you define success in your role? Ooh.
Well, um, that's a good question. So I think success can be defined in two levels, right? Again, at the high level, it's about impact, right? And again, I'm going to say this at the leadership level, right? Are we moving the organization forward in a way that aligns with our strategic goals, whether that's improving our customer engagement, accelerating innovation, or really strengthening the compliance part, right? Success means that we're doing this just not for activity, but it's actually delivering those measurable outcomes that matter to the business the most and ultimately filters down to our patients, right?
Yeah.
Now success can also be personal. I mean, we're all, there's a little bit of personal glory in this, but it's also about the people that are using the technology every day, right? The CX teams, the commercial team members, the sales reps, they should feel empowered by it. So if the tool is intuitive enough, if they're spending less time wrestling between the systems and are actually having more meaningful conversations,
Right.
that's in my definition a success, right?
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
because transformation, it only works if it's adopted and embraced at the representative level, right? Like it's at the
Yeah.
true user level. So I define success as the combination of the strategic impact aspect, which I had said the high level aspect, and then everyday usability. So
Yeah.
um, these two
Yeah.
have to come together to really deliver the strategic transformation or the digital transformation um, the true digital transformation, so to speak. Yeah.
This kind of segues into the last question we have in here so far, which is how do you make sure that these technologies are adopted effectively? So the adoption rate, contributes to the success. So back it up. Tell us how you make sure that these things are adopted.
Yeah. I think the way it's all about striking that right balance between that strategy that I talked about and the associated usability of it, right? Like I said, at the enterprise level, we want tools that align with our broader goals, right?
Yeah.
Whether that's improving customer engagement, strengthening the compliance, or driving efficiency, right? But adoption only happens if these tools make sense in the day-to-day reality of the field. So, the first step to that is involving our sales rep team members early, right? We don't just roll out technology from the top down, right? We pilot, we gather feedback, we iterate. It's the voice of the sales rep, right? That way, our reps are feeling ownership. That way, the input shapes the solution. The other part also that I want to call out is it's the focus on simplicity. If a tool requires multiple logins or has multiple friction points, I think adoption is just going to stall. People are going to hate it through word of mouth. They're going to spread the word. Oh, this sucks. So what we do is that we prioritize platforms that unify workflows, giving reps the compliant content, next best action recommendations, and analytics in one place, right? And the last but not the least part is the training and change management aspect, right? Being a former consultant and having spent an early part of my career in change management, it's something that I'm a big supporter of. It's not just about teaching people how to use the system. It's about actually showing them how to make their jobs easier. So that when these reps use the technology, they're spending less time on the admin aspect and more time engaging with what they're supposed to do, is engaging with the healthcare professionals, etc. So anyways, I mean, there's other ways that we could so adoption is not a one-time event. Typically, I mean, we track usage, you listen to feedback, you continuously improve. But I mean, I don't know if that answered the question, but it was a long long-winded answer, but happy to talk more about it.
Yeah, it's a key measure of success for us as well as usability and adoption. It's so important. Yeah. Let's see, we've answered the questions. That's great. So, this has been such an enjoyable conversation. I have to say, it was fun to prepare for this conversation too. Every time we meet to prepare, you are in some other city in the world and you're a very busy person. So thanks for taking the time to share your experience and your expertise on this topic. And get in touch with us. We'd love to continue the conversation. So if people have follow-up questions, want to meet with Ali or myself, please reach out to us. You'll get our LinkedIn and email addresses in the follow-up email that you'll receive from Pitcher with the recording of today's webinar. But Ali, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing with us your insights.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, and thank you for everyone for joining. This was fun. I'll catch you guys on the next call.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good afternoon. Bye, guys.